what I mean? Some old
Yep.
school boom bap music, like always.
So this is the rat bag.
This is this is Rat Bag. So we got Dave, Paulie, myself, and Vinny. And Vinny,
Yeah.
how did you hear about Rat Bag, or how did you get involved with it?
Well, I was having some issues with my MPC, and then Polly had made a comment on my page, or I made a comment on his page in regards to it. So we started talking from there. He just turned out to be good people. So then we just kept vibing back and forth through the reply message on YouTube, and sparked up a friendship relationship through that. You know what I mean? Just over music, and here I am today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of us met Paulie through that avenue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I've
was.
met a lot of guys. I actually went to I was using the MPC Live, man, and then I ended up getting Mpc X, and I started shooting videos on it, and I got
Turn it
a
down.
response.
You getting some loot?
Yeah, I'm getting a little.
Go ahead. You can continue on.
Right on. So yeah, so I just wanted to hook up my guitars to this and learn how to sample my own guitars and everything like that and put them in a because I like the sequencer built inside of it and really fast and everything. And so I started putting up videos, and little by little I started getting more and more views. And then I met I met all you guys on that channel from responses and everything. And then we started talking, and one thing led to another. We started designing things for our group, and like Vinny said, we've got a really good communication. We talk 24/7 all day long, man. Anytime my phone beeps, we're talking.
Yeah, it's real cool like that. I like being able to just throw out a comment to everybody, or just to be like, hey, I'm working on this track. Do you guys have any cool samples, or you guys got anything that I could use for this song? I think that's the coolest part about it is like I was talking to a dude on YouTube, and I won't say his name, but he was just like, if the music industry is just about building relationships with people, and I was so happy to hear that. Like it changed everything for me, really, because I felt that way, but I never really put that out because I always felt like if I was gonna be myself and people didn't like what I was doing, then I'd be a failure. And on top of that, you know, you suck. So it's like I finally feel like what, I'm just gonna start building relationships with people, and whatever happens, happens. And I think that's the best part about it is the people that you're meeting and that are drawn to this. They're all the ones
I'm
that like.
trying out. I'm trying.
What's up?
Oh, sorry, man. I was talking to my wife right quick.
Oh, it's all good. Like all the Rat Bags is kind of like a group of a bunch of people that nobody wanted around. That's how I feel. It's like just a kind of a Rat Bag group. That's why
I
it's
think it's awesome.
Right
But
now, I gotta be
the
the
group
talk.
has so many different personalities, man. We got people that have done albums. We got graphic art designs. It's Will Ramey.
Hey, is there any way everybody can mute when they not talking? Cause I'm not be able to hear people because other people, as soon as they make a noise, it interrupts the flow of the conversation. Can't hear it.
I don't know.
Can't.
I'm not sure if I can do that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where the hell the mute button is, but yeah, Paulie, maybe you bring your. Can you, Paulie? Do you have like your headphone jack doesn't work on your phone, does it? I was just gonna say, if you have one of those headphones that have like a little microphone on it, it might help. Your audio on my end is kind of low. I don't know about anybody else. But anyway, or you can just scream into the damn phone.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I had my mic off there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Ron, when did you start making music?
Man, I started making music probably like in the 90s. Yeah, the early 90s. My father used to play in a band. I used to watch him growing up. And I started DJing after that when I got in high school. And that led to me running into a few guys who played guitar and things like that and were recording themselves. And I was like, what? You can record this and put it on tracks? I was just fascinated with it. And I just started getting into it from that point.
Nice. Yeah, I never was in a band or anything, but I was always playing on the damn tabletop, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That was my first drum machine. It was pounding away on the desk at school.
Yeah, that's the first drum machine for everybody.
Yeah. I wanted a damn drum machine so bad. I didn't want a drum machine. I wanted a set of drums. Of course, it's well documented. I wasn't really introduced to hip hop until like 2000, like 99, 2000. So like I grew up on classic rock. And all I wanted was a damn drum set so I could bang away. And my parents, man, they thought they were doing a good thing for me. And they got me that little pad that doesn't make any noise. The one that you like hit to like learn how to play drums. I wasn't having that, man. I was like, this thing is bunk. I do not like this. So I had that for about a week and I was in band. Of course, these dudes got the trumpets and the damn clarinet, and I got this little pad that doesn't do anything, and I'm back there hitting that thing, and I was like, man, I gotta get out of here. This is not good. So I was always like putting, I would take my mother's car stereo and I'd put it in the trunk of my car, and I'd wire up these crazy sound systems, and I just didn't realize that like I was always drawn to drum and bass sounds and stuff like that. I just didn't realize it that's hip hop. You know what I mean? I just didn't realize it. I was always the guy like playing rock and roll with these huge freaking speakers in his trunk. And they're like, what the hell? You're listening to the wrong shit. I didn't know any better. So it took me a while because when I finally joined the military, you know, I got around a different kind of group of guys, and so I started listening to a lot more stuff. But yeah, and then I got into the synthesizer game and stuff, and then yeah, that took me in a different direction, I guess. So
you started buying 10, 20 damn synthesizers.
Yeah, I like them. I like them. Dave's got a couple himself. Dave, how long you been doing music? When did you start making music?
I put a band. Well, actually, I started in middle school. I had this one teacher that I don't know. We didn't really get along too well. He was a music teacher, and I wanted to play the bass, you know, and I had to. My parents wouldn't buy me a bass, so I had to get a paper route and save up my money. And I think I forget how much a bass was at the time, but it was like 4 months of saving every single penny from the paper route. And I ordered it out of Montgomery Ward's catalog. I don't know if you remember those. Yeah, and then I wanted to get bass guitar lessons, and they wouldn't pay for the lessons, so I had to go do it again, and I had to save up $40. And my music teacher, he wouldn't cut me a slack, and he was like charging me $10 a lesson. So those $40 got me 4 lessons, you know. And finally, after I took the lessons and you know paid for and worked to get it, my dad bought me an amp from Montgomery Ward's, a bass amp, You know, so I was trying. By that time, I was ready to play in the. I think I was in the 7th or 8th grade. One of the. I was in the 8th grade, I believe it was, and I wanted to play in the band because he was going to have these kids. They were going to make a record, and I remember they were playing. This was, you know, like the early 70s, so Bridge Over Troubled Waters was out. I don't know if you remember that song. So the band learned that song, and I was like, okay, I want to play bass, and he wouldn't let me do it. And I was like, that asshole, you know. So I put a band together myself, and I had my music teacher teach me how to play That's the Way of the World. And my band learned That's the Way of the World, and we played at my middle school graduation. Like it was like a middle school, I guess, prom or whatever you would call it. And the kids loved us, and he kind of looked stupid because he wouldn't let us play, he wouldn't let me play in the on the record. And later I kind of was thankful for him though, because he made me so pissed off that I had that energy to go for it. And he was living up the street from me in a basement of this lady's basement. And as I got older, I realized he was just a loser that felt the need to put another person down, you know, and I felt bad for him after that. I got old enough to realize that, you know, it wasn't me, it was him, you know. And that's kind of what got me started. And then what made me really get into it was when I was 15, my dad took me to see Earth, Wind, and Fire at the Baltimore Civic Center. And that was when the Afros, the bell bottoms, had the Pyramid. It was when Getaway was out. And when they, you know, did the Earth, Wind, and Fire, and then the people were up in the middle of the aisles jumping around. I looked at my dad. I said, that's what I want to do. And that was it. Wasn't no turning back.
Dave lived in Argentina for a while, Ron, and he had a nice little gig going over there. Yeah, he was telling me about that. Dave's kind of like a man of many continents. Is that right, Dave?
I don't know about many continents. I've been to a few places, but
I think it's a few stories for days, man.
Hey, Dave, you talking about stores that ain't even open no more, man. Montgomery Ward, man.
Oh,
yeah. And I bought a guitar later from Sears. The Sears, because remember the Sears catalog?
Yeah, Sears and Roebuck.
Man, that was like the Sweetwater catalog of the day.
Yeah. It was bigger than the phone book. It was
getting everybody's money.
Big ass catalog.
Yeah, and actually Sears Dan Electro sold their guitars through Sears under the Silvertone name. I don't know if you heard of Dan Electro guitars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were selling in Sears under under Silvertone.
I've heard of Silvertone, but I didn't know that Sears was they were doing.
Yeah, that was Silvertone's. They were using that name to sell the Dan Electro guitars.
Huh.
Man, we got a Sears up here, and it's closing. We got a Sears, a JCPenney. Like, this whole huge mall up here is shut down. Like, this place is just becoming a ghost town up here. It really is. It's crazy.
Get out of Maine, man. Get out of Maine.
It's over with.
Good. Good. But the wife does okay up here, so.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And so what are we planning on working on and going forward with and everything like that?
Well, I mean, it's a group decision, you know. I mean, I'm hoping that we can get some sound packs developed, get some projects going, and you know, it would be cool, I think, if we had an album where we each produced a track and all of us kind of do our own sound on each individual track using everybody else's expertise in the way you want it. You know what I mean? So like, just for example, if I'm putting together my track and I want to use Polly as a
Hey, somebody's got their TV blasting.
Oh yeah.
hear it. But yeah, I just thought it would be a cool idea if we all did a track on an album, produced by Vinny, produced by Paulie, produced by Will, and produced by Dave, and then just call on the other members to contribute things that you want. I don't know if that would be a first album or what, but I know definitely some really good things that we can do right off the bat are some of these original sounds, putting together these sound packs. So, I mean, I'd like to hear your guys.
Got a whole bunch of sounds with this Zoom recorder. It does it in stereo, and probably spent about an hour, and I got about 200 sounds, and sent them right over to Will, and we drag and drop right into the MPC, and you can edit and everything, and it's cool to be able to work as a group to do that. Like Vinny, you might even stack some of those sounds and adjust the start and end times, and then as a group, I just like that we all work together to make it a unique sound because we all have our own different styles. So I think that's
Vinny, what do you see for the group?
One more time.
Where do you see the group? What do you see for the group? Do you think that do you think you're ready to, like, I mean, I know you work and stuff a lot, so how much time can you put forth on, like, a solo project or a group project?
A solo project that, if there's no deadline or anything like that, of course I can knock it out. A group project, I probably would not get involved too much. You know what I'm saying? As far as if you gave me like a specific like duty to do, you know what I'm saying, I can knock that out. That's no problem. Like if you want drum sounds or if you just want like a track, if you gave me a deadline, then I can always make it happen. So group or solo, whatever, it's no problem for me, man.
That's cool. So I could send you that drum pack, and then they're all single hits. They're all one shots. So that was my contribution. So you could stack those.
Yeah.
And then the Will, and he could sequence them, and then Dave can mix them with, it's just a lot.
Yes. Send them to me, and I can stack them up and then do bass hits, snares, whatever, hi-hats, however you want it done. Or if you have an idea, if you just don't let me freelance it or whatever, I can do that too. But
that's what I did.
Yeah. I mean, even if they're not like fully mixed and mastered tracks, just stuff to license and copyright and get streaming.
Right.
Just a bunch of content that we can get plays on.
Well, I think you want to mix it and master it to the best of your ability, because you don't want to put stuff out there that ain't putting your best foot forward, because people hear it and you only get like one chance to make a first impression. So if you get
so that I would want to mess with, that I would still want to, like, I mean, because I've seen Paulie put stuff up, for streaming stuff, just stuff that he had laying around, and it's still got, it's still put a little money in his pocket. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how much it hurts to, I mean, I don't know, but Paulie.
Well, I'm not saying hold on to your stuff and never put it out, but I'm saying don't be willfully putting out stuff that's not the best you can do. You know what I mean? It's like, say, okay, yeah, that's good enough. Here, let's throw this out there. I mean, because you get in the habit of doing that, and then you just have I mean, this is just my opinion.
I agree. I agree with that.
I don't think you should be willfully mediocre. I think
quality over quantity.
Yeah. Well, but up to a point. I mean, you have to. People think they're going to get this one hit, And no, you make money off of quantity, but at the same time, the game has been leveled because there's so much software out to master with. There's so much equipment that you just can't put trash out anymore.
Right.
You know, you probably could have a while back, but now a kid in his bedroom can master a track. So you have to figure out how to master it, you know, because you're competing against that kid in his bedroom, you know.
Correct. Yep, you're right.
And Ron's finishing up on a album of his own right now, and he's just be like a couple weeks, Ron.
Yep, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Be
Ron
done.
writes one of his own.
What kind of music is it?
It's a hip hop album, mostly boom bap type music.
Oh, okay, okay,
So you put out
cool.
before?
Instrumentals.
You ever trademark those, copyright those or anything?
Some of my older stuff, yeah. Not the stuff I've got now.
I hear you. What I did, because I just wanted to see how things work, so I just threw, it was like on a little AN200 little box, man. So I just wanted to see how it worked. And I made some sounds, you know, and they sounded pretty good enough to hear out of the speakers. So I registered them through the copyright.gov and EMI. And there was some whack beats, man. I won't even tell people to go there and look at my work. It's like I say, first impression is everything. I'm not gonna tell my youth, hey, go over here, look at this. So I don't want them to see that. But if they do, I'll explain what I was doing. And turns out that, yeah, you get streams, you know, and like David was saying, quantity, man. The more you put out there, the more streams. But yeah, you want to be known for your music and the quality of your music. So as far as copywriting and everything like that, man, it worked out for me, man. Somebody from there was a show on TV, and they used a few seconds of one of my songs, and you could barely even hear it in the background, but I could see the check. So it's really, really cool how that worked out.
If you can see the check, that's all that matters, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not really, but I'm just saying you got paid for your
man.
services. You know that.
But yeah, just that whole. So I wanted to just see how that worked, and it's a pretty easy process. So if you ever want to go through that, man, I can screenshot stuff, send it to you or whatever. I mean, that's what it's all about, is learning how to do stuff as a group. So it could be tedious how to do it the first time, but after that, it's cake. You literally start making money in your sleep. Just, you know, it's insane.
Yeah, and you know what? There's so many online resources now for doing this type of thing. For example, when you there's online resources like what's the name of it? Recording. I forget the name of it. But there's different sites where you can learn how to do mastering, where you can learn how to do mixing, where they'll teach you how to do EQs, compression. There's just online.
Bags.com, and eventually this way they can come in and learn stuff like that. Like, Will, man, he sat, I'm not gonna lie, man, 3 days, maybe 4 days straight, man, on this mixer trying to hook me up. And I didn't know anything about it. And I got schooled, man, and I learned 2-3 years worth of stuff in 2 or 3 days. I disassembled my whole studio and it all stuck. So I mean, I think it's going to be a great platform for people to actually.
That's what I think that the best, the best about this situation is just I personally, I want to make good music, but
Yeah.
I also want to help people. And maybe that's corny or whatever, but I've gotten more out of helping out Paulie and giving anybody advice and stuff, and just sharing knowledge and stuff. I get more out of that. I get more out of other people's success sometimes than I do on my own. Don't get me wrong. I like it when a track really hits. I mean, there's nothing like that, but a close second is hearing somebody else's track hits that you really support and that you want them to do well.
Right.
Like when Ron's track played last week on that CMA stuff, he was pretty excited about that track coming up to that.
That was a real good track. I watched it. I
Yeah,
watched it.
you guys watch, Ron.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it too.
No, it was real. It was,
You know,
Yeah.
and Ron and I are kind of going back and forth, and he's like, "I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure how they're gonna like it." I'm like, "Man, you stop, man, stop." And that shit came on, and it was good. No. And
Hey, send me a link. I want to hear it. I didn't get a chance to hear it.
definitely. Will. And on Tuesday, Vinny, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Ron's got a track. I got a track. So I'll send you a link for sure, and you can catch up on all those past episodes and stuff.
Wait, man, I'm so excited to see that.
Hey, Ron, are you using the MPC also?
No, I'm using Machine Mk2.
Oh, okay, okay.
So all you all have the MPC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried Machine, man. I loved it, man. I loved hooking it up to the computer and everything, but that sequencing part where I could stretch out my songs and all that, I just kind of got lost there. It was a roadblock for me, but
I'd like to have
here.
Oh yeah, I don't even use all that, man. I'm so old school, man. The way I put my stuff together is I start off with the S950, the Kai S950 sampler, and it can only sample for like 10 seconds.
Right.
But at 10 seconds, I can make a whole song. You know what I'm saying? So nowadays, what I put together is so simple for me to use anything. I still have my Mpc XL, 2000 XL. I still have that, but I rarely use it.
Yeah, that's how it was back in the day, man. You only had a few seconds, you know.
Right.
And one of the techniques that they would use, what made that sound, was they would speed up the record. Yeah, if it was a 33, they would speed it up to 50 or 45, sample it, and then slow it back down.
Yep.
Man, what's that do?
It cuts the sampling time in half.
Yeah. Get more sample time.
Let's say if it was going to take you 1 megabyte to do the sample.
I got you. It would cut the sample time. I got
it would cut it to like a half a megabyte.
Right.
Oh man, that's a hustle.
And then when you slowed it back down, not only did it cut the sample time down, it added to the grittiness of it. That's why Public Enemy stuff used to sound so gritty.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think you had 12 seconds on the SP1200.
Nah, I think it was like 10 seconds.
Yeah, the SP12, I think it had, might have been 6 seconds. It was short.
Yeah, I don't even think it was 10 seconds. It was
crazy.
It was a little bit.
I had a Yamaha RS7000. It was the first box that I got, you know. I was using Korg products, but then I was like, I saw this big RS7000 as a gray box. It had all these little knobs and stuff on it. And yeah, the sample time on that was whack. It was like, you know, like you say, 5-6 seconds. But they got the job done for like little drums and stuff. It would add a nice crunch to it too.
Yeah. Back in the day, people would. That's what you had. You know, that was what made you were making records with that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
See, man, what it is that I really like about this is, you know how discouraging it is for a young artist, man, to that he wants to rap over a beat or something like that, and when he wants to buy 6 beats to do and he finds that sticker price for each track, and it's just, you know, it's discouraging, man.
Well, you know, I don't feel bad for young artists when it comes to that. I'm gonna tell you why. I know it probably sounds cold-hearted, but when you look at the money that I had to spend to put my studio together, and like I told you before, I had to deliver papers for months. And look, I used to try to mentor young guys. I told this guy, I had this young guy, he wasn't even that young. He was like 20 something. I said, look, come into my studio, organize my cables, clean everything up in here, and I'll teach you how to do everything in the studio. And he wouldn't even come do that. He was getting free studio time in a studio where you would have to pay at least $50 to $75 an hour.
Right.
And he wouldn't even make that sacrifice. So no, I don't feel sorry for him, man. I don't. Because the equipment is so cheap right now, which most kids already got a computer. You tell them that the software costs $300 and they complaining about it.
Right.
They complaining about $300, man.
If they can't afford the track, I guess they're not really serious about the craft either.
Exactly, man. I'm a firm believer that we as producers don't need to give them artists beats for free. You don't need to do it, because if they don't want to pay for them, then oh well. Keep the beats for yourself. Don't give your beats away free, because how much money did you spend on your studio? How much time did you spend on your craft making good beats? And I, you know what? And let me tell you something else. Here I am. I'm on my high horse. Let me get on my soapbox. Look, here's another problem. I hate calling it beats. It's music. Beats is disrespecting your craft. You ain't making beats.
Right. I call it artwork.
Yeah, you can't copyright a beat. You can copyright music. So, and a lot of rappers come to you, man, I need a beat. No, you need a song.
Right.
That's why I love you, man, because
Dave.
Dude, you would learn so much stuff, dude, that, you know, when you're out in the world, you won't make some simple mistakes.
Yeah, as long as you're open to hear it, you know.
Yeah, you gotta be, you know, that's what it is. It's occasion, so.
Well, we got Dave around. He'll get up on that high horse and just.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but I've dealt with that so much, man, and we as producers, man, I'm sure each one of us at least spent $3,000 on our equipment.
Yeah.
At least. I'm just lowballing it.
Yeah, you are.
So a guy that hasn't spent a dime comes and wants to argue with you about $25 or $50.
Yeah, no. If you can't come up with $50 for some music, that's not gonna cut it. You know. Sure.
And I'm not talking about $50 for an exclusive track. $50, but I'm gonna rent that beat out 100 times for $50. Listen to Curtis King Curtis. He'll tell you.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about, Dave.
Yeah, if you want an exclusive, $500 to $1,000, and then you still got to keep your publishing.
You can be in charge of all that stuff. See that. You got that.
No, I don't want to be in charge. I'll just give you the information and you can do it or you don't have to do it. You know, I don't want to be, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make somebody think the way I think. I'm just throwing it out there because we're all older, man. We're not 20. So we don't have time to do stuff for free and do it for the fame or the promotion, and you need to get money.
Record label. Dave had his own record label, and he's been around. You know, he won't tell you this, but he knows what's going on around here. So, if you couldn't tell,
I'm sorry.
I've been through the same thing. I had some young guys. I told them just to cut my grass, and I would give them some studio time. They didn't even want to cut the grass. I was like, forget it, man.
Dang.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah, because if you don't make them pay something for it, they're not going to respect it.
how hot was
That's
that?
the problem.
Yeah, I've never been in any kind of like pro studio or anything like that. I've never walked foot into one. Never seen one because, you know, if I figured I was gonna spend that kind of money, I'm just gonna build.
I'm telling you, man, I think the gap is closing.
Yeah, I'm like, you're sitting in the pro studio right now.
I've seen you back room.
I don't have to spend that money on it. You know,
Think about this. When I was a kid, I went to a studio. This guy had an 8-track studio, okay? And I recorded my first record in that studio. What you have in your studio is like 100 times better than that was. And I paid $25 an hour to go to his studio back then. And the Mpc X alone is way more powerful than everything he had in his studio.
That thing's way powerful, that's for sure. I mean,
yeah, I mean, think about it. You got 8 tracks of audio, all these effects. It's incredible.
To the X, and I can control all this stuff right here on the X. I don't have to get up for nothing except tweak a mixer. But it's right here.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was just saying, you know, to have some packs out there for people that, you know, want a few. They don't have to that sound pack. Just some noise, you know. Just little. You know what I mean? Just little bitty noises.
That sounded like a carousel for a minute, like a.
So for free, you get a carousel. You know what did that take me to do that? And then it gives that artist an opportunity to be able to, yeah, that might trigger somebody to be inspired. And then because I gave them that opportunity to use that, they might come back when, you know, they're serious about doing something for real. You're like, hey, this dude hooked me up, whatever. That's all I'm trying to do.
Oh yeah, you have to, I think that's a valid point. You have to provide value, even if it's free stuff. I'm not necessarily talking about your songs, but I'm talking about like your advice on how to use the equipment, even sound packs. You know, that's different. Yeah. You know, because ultimately, if they want to use the sound packs, they have to make an investment. Even if you give them the free sounds, they're going to have a software or a sampler or something. So they have to. Right, they have to meet you somewhere in the learning process. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to make them become a better musician because they have to put an effort into it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
When people come to the site, and you know, that's enough motivation right there. I mean, it's like they came and reached out. So yeah, I'm you know, maybe 1 or 2 packs here and there, but not anything that I EQ'd out of my mixer or spent time doing. Those that I sent out, I literally just recorded them, normalized them, chopped them up, and sent them out. Like 120 drums in a Nikita.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind running stuff through processors because I'm not as well. I don't know if I had the patience to just invent a whole bunch of new sounds. I don't have the patience to do that, but I can process the sounds. You know, I don't mind doing that. You know, and giving somebody like record ready sounds that you don't have to do much to.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, I sent out that kit to. I believe I sent it to everybody. I'm not sure, but if you got it,
I don't have Google. Yeah. I'm like a. I gotta figure that out. Google Drive thing.
You send a Google Drive or WeTransfer?
Yeah, WeTransfer is better for me.
Yeah, and myself too. I know WeTransfer, but Google Drive, that's not my forte.
Oh, maybe we'll just start sending stuff then WeTransfer. I don't know.
I can put WeTransfer on my laptop. I'm gonna do that right now, actually.
Fine. You just go to the website.
Yeah, you don't have to download anything to your site. You just go there and you can upload it to it.
Can you send videos on WeTransfer?
You can send anything you want up to 2 gigs. Yeah.
Wasn't sure. I was thinking about.
And if you go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was thinking we might be able to do a collaboration video, that everybody could share on their YouTube or whatever. Like if everybody takes a little like 30-second or 1-minute video of like banging on the pads, like putting a track together or something like that, we could put them all together as a single YouTube video. But we'd have to be able to send the videos back and forth.
I don't know how much space, how many gigabytes the
right? How much a video?
I don't know how many. Yeah, I don't know about that. I've never tried it before.
Well, what you would do?
How much space does Google Drive take?
You would just send it to one person, right? So everybody could say like,
yeah, everybody would send it to one person, but then that person would have to be able to send the completed project out. So that
Yeah, but you can send it. Let's say if I wanted to send a video and I had a video, I could actually upload that video to WeTransfer and put every last one of you guys' email in it, and each one of you could download it.
Yes. But then somebody's going to put them all together into one massive video. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
This is all pretty damn new still, so it's working out.
Yeah, I think it's cool that every day we spend at least 3, 4, maybe.
How many videos you got to catch up on every day, Vinny?
man, like at least when you guys are talking like crazy, at least 10, 15.
Yep.
But what I really do is I just scroll through and get like towards the end, and then I catch everything because somebody will recap everything.
I'll send you a private. I'll be like, Vinny, go back and watch minute number 52. You might have missed something.
Hey man, but hey, you can send me the video. Like if you're banging out on the pads, I'll chop it up and edit it. You know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll chop it up on Final Cut and then go like that, and then you got to send a track behind it too. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, we can do something like that, like an intro commercial with everybody doing something on the pads, and then
well, here's an idea that we could throw around to each other. Let's say, for example, if we said, okay, everybody pick one topic to learn on the MPC, and let's say it's only like a 3-minute topic. You know, let's say, for example, it's chopping up a sample, or let's say the other one could be recording a sample, and the other one could be laying out the sample on the pads. So each one of us got a different topic, and we all do that and record that, and we edit it together, and it winds up being a whole big picture.
I would like to see something like that, especially on Ron's side, since he has you still use the S950, Ron?
Oh, I don't use it anymore, but I still have it. I use the machine, the Mk2.
But you don't integrate the two as far as like running the sounds to the S950, then putting it over in or sampling in the S950.
No, I don't use the S950 anymore.
Oh man, yeah.
If I did, I probably use it for just the drums because it has a little grittier sound to it.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, we can run something like that.
Yeah, that would work.
Take on
that'd be interesting.
Sampling, key groups, all of that. Putting the bass line in, or how you do your specialized synths over there, Polly and Will. You know what I mean?
How long y'all been using MPC?
Huh?
So how long y'all been using the MPC? Y'all new to it, or y'all been on it for a couple of years?
Well, I got my first one back in 2007, but I'm coming from Machine, so I'm a Machine, an Mpc ASR X type guy.
ASR, damn.
Yeah.
I got my one.
I got that
in 2010, so I had a Mpc 1000 for probably like 6 or 7 years, and then I got the X. That came out not that long ago, so I haven't been using this that long. I don't know. Maybe I have. Maybe just time flies by.
Yeah, time does fly by. I had that 7000. It had 2 pads on it, and those are my 2 pads is all I had. And then I got
what was that?
My RS 7000. You can't hear me?
Okay, yes. RS 7000.
You can hear you.
It was a Yamaha RS 7000.
I gotta look that thing up right now.
Yeah, dude, it's a big silver box. It had 2 drums on it, 2 pads. The rest were like keys. And
Oh, speak. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. After that, I went to the XL, the 2000 XL, and then I got the 5000. I played with the 5000 for a little bit, and I tried Machine, man. When Machine came out with 2 screens on it, I had to get into that. But it wasn't the same workflow that I was used to, copying sequences and all that. That's how I do it. And then when the Live came out, I had to jump on that. It was portable, and I loved it. But I had to get the X after that. I'm just glad that I can plug everything I need right into it, and it makes my workflow a whole lot easier.
It lasted a little while, and then you had to have something else.
Yeah.
The RS7000, huh? That thing looks kind of crazy, man.
Dude, that box is like $350 on eBay, and you can sample into that box. Throw a reverse sawtooth on it. You won't know what you won't know what sound it is, man. I'm telling you. I miss that box. That box is like 30 pounds.
Wow, that's giant.
Dave, what you doing? Cleaning the house?
No, I was I was getting some water out of my refrigerator, so I said, let me cut off my thing while I'm getting my water. I'm doing some filming like like Spike Lee, you know, when they talking and they rolling down like that, you know, like
They crazy as hell, man.
Yeah, but I was going to tell you guys there's a really good what do you call it box. I forgot that I have this box. It's called a DX. It's a DX 300, I believe, 200, DX 200. It is a little box. It was a groove box that nobody wanted. I bought this thing for like $100. Nobody wanted it when it came out. It's basically a DX7 in a groove box about the size of an E-Tribe, the original E-Tribes, and it does FM synthesis, but it has knobs on it so you can control the FM synthesis like you control analog synthesis. And it was the only box that existed like that, you know. Whereas
so it's actually controlled like a subtractive synthesizer.
You control it, but it's FM synthesis, and because you remember DX7 was wonderful, man, but it had so many pages you had to go through to deal with it that only a serious engineer could really make something out of it.
Yeah, I don't find it very fun at all going through menus, but
no, I hate it. I don't like it at all.
But
yeah,
I thought you were gonna say the Oberheim, that DX.
No, it's the DX7, DX 200 or 300. I forget. I'm not looking at the thing right now.
Drum machine too.
I had a DT Express drum machine. Had all the pads, everything on it. It was big, man. It was like living inside an Mpc. It was just.
I haven't had nearly. Like you guys had way more gear.
Who made that? Who made that drum machine?
Yamaha DT Express. It was cool, man.
Oh, okay.
A couple hundred kits in it, and it was a little orange box. You could plug some stuff up into it. I never really got into it, but it's a nice box.
Yeah, the Oberheim is just called the DX. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, did you look up that box, the DX200? That's what it is. It's the Yamaha DX200. That thing is if you ever find one for real cheap, pick it up.
Okay.
Tell me twice.
What,
yeah, if you
DX, that thing?
A Yamaha,
Oh,
huh?
God, that's the thing that I made my beats on. That I put up on the
Oh,
that I
that's
trademarked those beats, man.
DX200.
Yeah, the funky
But
ass.
it's not really a beatbox though. It's more of
Yeah, it's
a keyboard.
Yeah, it's a groove box, man. I love that thing. I hooked that up to my keyboard, and it was just me in that box. And yeah, you can do some crazy stuff with that, man. You
talking about this thing.
Let me see. You gotta hold it still.
It's a long ways, Dave.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Hold it still, motherfucker.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about
you sometimes you shaking it around, it's like that's it. Yeah.
Yamaha
That's it.
DX200.
That's it. Thank you.
Is that what you had, Polly?
Yeah, man. I made 6 songs with that.
You got rid of it?
Yeah, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna keep that thing for.
I got this now, man. It was cool.
Yeah.
Time to upgrade. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Upgrade.
I got this.
Oh yeah.
Yep. We'll have about 5 more within 6 months.
I don't need the DT Express, man. I don't miss that box.
No, but that's not the DT. That's not the DT Express though. That's the DX200.
I don't miss either one of them.
Oh, okay.
I actually sold that to get some money so I could buy my Live, and I got rid of my Yamaha RS7000.
You know what he said like 3 weeks ago? He was saying, I was telling him, I was like, you know what, man, it's nothing like grabbing a knob and turning it and having it do something. Because he was talking about his software, his VIP software. And I was like, man, there's nothing like really grabbing a knob and turning it and have it do something, And he's like, you know what? I just like the software. Here we are 2 weeks later, and he's bought the damn thing.
Cool keyboard and all, man, but the software is great. But if my computer blows up, man, I'm done. And now I can actually still make my beats, dude. I don't have.
You have a lot of internet problems at home, don't you?
Huh? What?
You have internet issues there?
Internet issues, man. I just break computers, dude. You should have seen this video I sent Will the other day, man. He had sent me a profit pack, and I put it on the software, and everything was cool. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's working. Everything's cool. And then I went to do controller mode, and it just stayed in standalone because I had put the DLL files. I tried to copy them to the wrong program to make it.
He had like 32-bit software, no, 64-bit software put in 32-bit files, and crazy shit going on.
Oh, yeah, I had a little breakdown, man. I had Marco'd him, man, and I had all these wires over me. I was like, oh, man.
I'm gonna check and see if I'm gonna see if I got the Bible on my thing, and I'll send you guys a copy of the Bible.
So Ron, how do you like the Mk2 compared to the MPC stuff that you work with? Obviously, if the MPC was better, you'd be using that. So you suggest I get it?
Hey, look, and I'm not talking about religion. As he cut me off, because I was like, he thinks I'm talking about the MPC Bible.
I was like, Bible.
Yeah, sometimes we get together and we like read.
He thought I was gonna quote some Deuteronomy or some shit.
I was like, yeah, I'm in the wrong hangout tonight.
No, I don't know if he does a machine Bible, but I know he does a MPC MPC tutor does a Bible.
But this
that
the X?
Yes, for the X. It blows away. The manual for the X sucks.
I didn't get a manual for the X.
Huh?
You got to download it.
I ain't get it, man.
You got to download everything now,
so I
man.
can remember what I was doing.
They gave you the quick start book. That's it, man. That didn't take
Man, quick nothing. I plugged it in and learn.
The book is on YouTube. You got to YouTube it.
Man, $499 for this little DX200. I sold mine for like half of that.
That's what I'm saying. The price went up now because people are looking for it. That's what I'm saying. It was one of those pieces to hold on to.
Yeah, those things.
I had Korg Electribes too. I had an MX and the SC, I believe, the red box and the blue box. But
I got the red one, man. The drums. You remember that track that I gave you called "Fuck the Sponsors"?
Yeah.
Did I give you that?
Yeah, I remember.
That kick drum was made on the E. The fact the whole track was done on the E-Tribe.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
I don't know why I like those things.
If I know if I knew what I know now that I'm looking at that box, like, yeah, I can see what it has some good cutoff and some crispy sounds. I made my 6 songs with it, put them on the copyright just to make some money. And honestly, man, the little boxes put a little couple $100 in my pocket since like 2011 when I put songs on. But they're trash songs.
I mean, if you look at it from that point of view, I could see why you would sell it to get another thing. But if you look at it from the point of view of a producer,
I'm looking at it from the point of view where it's $500 right now. Damn, dude.
Because the more sounds you have access to, the better your sound palette is for producing. For example, like you guys are saying, hey, I want to get invent these new sounds. Well, yeah, it's cool, man, but most of the stuff has been invented already. The question is taking, for example, stuff that was out years ago and adding it to the new sound palette that you have, and it will sound new. You see what I'm saying? Like now everybody's using the analog stuff. Well, in the 70s, everything was analog.
Yep.
But it sounds new today, It sounds like it's
a little bit.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Just in that if you're creating sounds from organic sounds, like I say organic, but I just mean like the sound of a trash can, or a bicycle horn. Yeah, that's probably been sampled before, but if you look at the sound waves down at the microscopic level, they're not the same. It's actually an original sound. You know what I mean? Like, no two sounds are going to be exactly identical. I mean, it's just how I feel about it. And then you can take all your effects and do it differently. So you may have a sound that sounds exactly from, it was made in the same fashion that another sound was made, but it is different.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. What you're doing, I think, is great, and I think that's what you should do. But I'm saying, don't underestimate sticking in a sound from, like, let's say the DX200. Don't underestimate. For example, one thing they had really well, DX7s could do shimmery bells. And if you remember back in the 80s, all of those R&B songs had that shimmery bell sound keyboard to it, and it was all from a DX7. Well, it got old, but now if you're doing stuff with all analog gear and you do a track, inside that whole deal with shimmery bells, it's going to sound brand new.
Yeah, the DX7, the price of those is going up right now.
Exactly.
It's what's happening is the 80s is being revived. Like with these shows on Netflix that are so popular, with Stranger Things and stuff like that, it really is helping to revive the synthesizer. Not that it really works, but I mean, it's definitely a really, really popular thing right now within music. People are taking analog gear and they're trying to make it sound modern.
Yeah, with those and the DX7, like I said, that wasn't analog. That was FM synthesis. And then, you know, you got a lot of, like, I held on to a lot of my stuff, like the Proteus and all that stuff. It's going to come back around. I don't know when, but it will.
Oh, I've
You know,
had
little
DX7 before.
an FM synthesizer.
I was just checking it out on eBay. I looked up the DX7, and I've seen one of these before. They're pretty dope.
They were like the most popular, like the best-selling synthesizer of the '80s, I think.
That's the actually the synthesizer that put Yamaha on the map, really.
Yeah. I love Yamaha. From their way to their speakers.
Yeah, there's a whole history to them guys and Korg. Holy cow.
Yeah.
But
that's why I got the Yamaha Mo-XF6, because it has good hard piano, good strings. It was just straight sounds that I can there, and then add a little reverb and stuff to them. But other than that, man, yeah, they make some great stuff, man. I love it.
Well, I was gonna say, guys, if you were gonna tell somebody who's like trying to make music and, you know, maybe they're like new to it or whatever, and they're getting really frustrated, what did you guys do? Because I'm gonna close this down. I'm gonna keep the feed up, but I'm just gonna close this down real quick. Just wanted to hear what you guys would tell someone if they're like, you know, new to music and they're finding it really frustrating, but they want to do it and they got a passion for it. What would you tell them, Dave?
Me, I would tell them, if you're not getting into it because you love music, leave it alone. You know, just don't even get into it. But if you love music, do it for the love of the music, but at the same time, learn the business side of it so you can make money at it. Because ultimately, even though a lot of people say I'm doing it for the love of it, but money is a form of validation.
Absolutely. And that realization myself, Dave.
Yeah.
I love music, but it's just coming to my attention that maybe I should be trying to like get dollars.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance between dollars and art. You know, I mean, whenever you stick money into art, it becomes like a Philistine type of situation. But you have to have money, else you can't keep doing it. You know, because as adults, we only have a finite amount of time. I mean, between working, family, and everything else. So if you're gonna really get good at it, really, and you even mentioned this one time before, Will, you said that you need to put in at least 10,000 hours into one thing before you get good at it. So in order to be able to put 10,000 hours in it, you got to get some kind of compensation.
Yeah, you're right.
And one thing that people leave out, I'm sorry, this is my last thing I'm going to say. One thing that people, you got to put 10,000 hours in, but it has to be within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, right. It can't span over 40 years. At some point in time, you got to try to, you know, because by that time, you have to start over. Technology changes quick. How about you, Vinny? What would you tell somebody?
To just keep going at it. Music is like, it's delicate, but you know, it took me almost 10 years to graduate college. So, you know, as far as this game in music, it's been since '95. So that's a multiple years, you know what I mean, right there. So just keep going at it, stay dedicated, keep trying to figure out new things, watch a lot of videos, since YouTube is very helpful. You know, back in the day when I first started, I couldn't never figure out how does like Dilla and all these guys, how do they get that swing? All my beats were on a like a 16 step sequencer, right? And I was like, man, how did they get that swing? And I ain't never know how to get it, but you got to turn that quantize off sometimes, you know what I mean, and get busy like that. But
you're so lucky with the YouTube age, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. You can find out a lot of things, man, and people don't want to give away their secrets, right? But when they do these videos and they're talking, giving this commentary, if you listen closely, you can hear some of the secrets in the music game. It's like how Dave sent out that thing in regards to keys with Busy Work Beats. If you don't know how to play piano, you know, you can do this key arrangement like this to make certain chords. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? But there's other techniques within just, you know, making drum samples or sequencing your beat. I mean, just pay attention and keep at it. You know what I mean? And you'll get to a different place as years go on, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Ron, what would you tell someone?
I basically tell them, look, it's not gonna happen overnight. You know, everybody think they can just get on a drum machine for the first time, make a hot beat. It's not gonna happen. You know, just continue at it. Keep making those whack ass beats and keep on going. You know what I'm saying? Until you get to a point where the first time somebody say, "Yo, I like that," that's when you know you're getting somewhere. But it can't, you know, you can't trust your best friend or your mom or everybody gonna tell you, "Oh, I like it." It's got to be some stranger, somebody that you don't really know that says it to you that first time. Yo, I kind of like that. Then you know you're getting somewhere. But until you get to that point, just keep on going at it. You know.
And what would you tell somebody that wants to like put their stuff into a platform like CMA?
Just go for it. You know, you got to be able to take criticism. You got to take criticism.
Get nervous, man.
Oh, no. Yeah, you don't. Everybody's always nervous in the beginning, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's always nervous because you don't know how people are gonna feel about it. You like it yourself, but you don't know how everybody else is gonna feel about it.
Right.
It takes a while to build that confidence up.
Paul, you got any words?
Yeah, man. Someone came to me, I would tell them, step out your comfort zone. You know, that was big for me. Experiment. Put your songs out there, man. YouTube's right there. All you gotta do is set up an account. I had a little 6-year-old kid ask me, how do I get a YouTube channel? It's like, get an email address and a YouTube. Put your videos out there. Let people decide your work, man. It's the only way you're gonna know. And like homeboy said, man, you don't want your brother or your sister or your niece and nephew to hear the song because they don't, you know, they're gonna tell you that it's good stuff and it sounds great and all that. But people on YouTube or any kind of social media, you know, that's real feedback, man. And then you develop relationship with people too, because you end up giving them back. So I would highly recommend putting out as much music as possible, at least showing people your thought process. This way, this dude called me one time and he was like, I had to call you, man, because there has to be an easier way than what you're doing. And he walked me through it, man. So I would definitely step out the comfort zone, experiment a lot, have fun with it, make time with it. You're going to have to make sacrifices, especially if you're really serious with it financially. You're going to have to make sacrifices. And, you know, you got to love it. I mean, not like you love your car. Really love it, man. You got to be willing to sacrifice, just like if it was your kid. You defend it, and you make it better, and you make it grow strong. You know, that's all I can say about it.
Yeah, and I'd add to that, too. For me, it's like, I don't mind being uncomfortable. Every time I've been uncomfortable, I've learned a lot, and I've grown a lot. So I try to be uncomfortable. I mean, I've put myself recently in some really, really, probably really uncomfortable situations. And I always have learned a lot about myself and about the people around me. So I just try to build good relationships with people. And if they say, don't go to the barbershop unless you want to get a haircut. You hang around people who make good music, and you're eventually the thing. That's how I feel. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna shut this down. We'll come back another time and have another one.
Watching everybody. Everybody, thanks for coming to the group, man. It was
Have a good one.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Thank you for inviting me.
Glad to be here, man.
It's good meeting you, Ron.
Yeah, nice meeting everybody.
I'll be watching.